All right, we should be live if you want to start the meeting.
Good evening and welcome to the Revere School Committee of the Whole meeting. It is currently 5:34. We apologize, we're having some technology difficulties and hopefully it will be taken care of shortly. In the meantime, can we stand for the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Montanaro,
Present.
Mr. Flanagan here. Ms. Gramellisi,
Here.
Mr. Kingsman here, Mrs. Milbury Ellis,
Here.
Ms. Ty,
Here.
Mayor Rico.
So first item is the consent calendar. Anyone have any questions on the minutes that were sent to us a few days ago? Seeing none, moving on to warrants. Anyone have any questions? At this time, Mr. Francis.
I just have a couple of questions for you. On page 1, number 33, it was office equipment purchase, well, $55,000. What was purchased and what school was it for?
So that was the first district-wide massive printer that we use for district-wide needs. And instead of having ongoing 3-year leases, we purchase one every 5th year. So you're seeing that large purchase here, and you won't see it again until 2027.
Was that one printer?
Yes. The printer that Michael had, there's a different one for all printing, and also high school and any special jobs.
Just a general question. There were a bunch of bills for the cleaning, electric, and Ameresco, and there were 3 payments there. Is there a reason why we paid 3 instead of we paid them monthly?
What page are you looking at?
It was really okay. It was like the postage bills, the cleaning, and the electric, and Ameresco, that they were paid 3 payments.
On page 8.
Yeah, so on that, we're depending on the vendor to be timely with their billing. And sometimes over the summer, there's a delay in getting the billing. So we have the money encumbered and we can only pay when we receive accurate billing for those months. So I think Garfield and Beachmont, the bills came in at the same time and got pressed through that way.
And I'm actually seeing, Michael, on the next page that we have a similar routine for the other schools. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess what Matt's saying is that would be the June, July, August bills for.
That's right. Over the summer, we're passing on to the new seasonal orders, but the cleaning is happening from July 1st. We can't make payment until the POs are in place. And over the summer, often you'll see double or triple payments for the new year. Now you'll see one a month until we get back to the summer again.
Man, on page 12, there was a check for Ameresco, $48,000, and it says, and it's number 442. It says measure and verification service. Could you just tell us what that's for?
Sure. Several years ago, we did a massive energy saving project with Ameresco, and we receive an annual bill from them for their staff doing the work to ensure that the savings are being recognized. So there's a schedule from which we pay that bill to them, and we meet annually with their staff to verify those numbers. So that is a very small increase in year. Each year was built into the original bond for that 10-year project.
Is that for all schools?
Yeah, it was a district-wide initiative. I don't know that every school had a need for the energy saving stuff at the time, but it's a district-wide bill.
My last question, Madam, page 15, number 5.4, science and scientific. It says science enrichment to 60,000. Just tell me what that's for.
Probably,
I can answer that one, actually. It's actually Science from Scientists. And that's the group that, comes in and does teaching in our elementary and middle schools, one lesson a month. And the $60,000 covers the cost for the entire district.
Anyone else? Anyone else have questions? Mr. Kingston?
Thank you. It's not really a question for Mr. Cruz. It was just sometimes when we question Mr. Cruz on a bill, he just doesn't know, and I have no problem with that, because it's 16 pages and 567 items. What I would really like to see is the questions submitted in advance. It gives Mr. Cruz time to research the answer if he doesn't know. And the other thing, when he doesn't know, and if you're watching on TV, and Matt will say, I'll get back to you on that or whatever. If you're watching on TV, you never see the answer because it's never really back to us. So it's just, I think, procedural thing. I think it would help both the business office and the viewer at home. If there was a question that couldn't be answered at the meeting, there's really no follow-up for the viewer at home. So if there's a question on a bill and Matt says, well, I'll get you that answer, we never see it. The viewer would never see it at home. I just think submitting the question might be helpful to everyone concerned. Thank you.
Do we know that Mr. Kingston, any other questions in regards to the warrants? Ms. Ty?
I asked the superintendent first, but I see on page 3, number 108, payment is very small amount of only $330. Murphy is employment. And I'm wondering if that is a final payment, and we have ties with that law firm, John, or is that not a final payment?
I don't know that that's a final payment. It looks like probably an hour's wages if they sent an attorney to sit in on an IEP meeting or something like that. It could be. But we have done introductions of our special education team to the group at Valario, Dominello, and Hillman, who are now representing us for our special education needs.
Anyone else? Questions on warrants? Okay, moving on to financial reports. Anyone questions for Mr. Cruz? Mr. Parenti?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, on the cover sheet, or it says quarterly financial report, on 3,000 other student services. Unless a lot of money can come, we only got about $2 million balance left for another 9 months. Is there a reason for that?
the only concern that we have through the first quarter with spending is the cost of transportation. So you'll notice at the end of this quarterly report, I attached a very detailed transportation statement of ops so far. So the primary deficit that we're seeing in there is caused by transportation. On that back, it shows a deficit at this point of around 300,000 and change. We're not really concerned because we know so many of those runs do not actualize attendance for every day for the year. And we also have not yet transferred $1.1 million in from the ESSER 3 grant to help support transportation this year, which we've been planning on. So all of that is going into the question that Mrs. Ferretti just asked about the 3,000 series. When we get 3 more months into the year, we'll have a better feel for the attendance patterns, and we will have cleared that money in from the grant, and so that should be in the right direction. But that's the one place that we're keeping a very close eye on so far.
Okay, now on page 2, number 26, legal service down 85,000. I believe we set up the account for 235,000. Is the money encumbered or is that how much legal services we so far?
No, we actually have not paid a bill in the fiscal year yet. That is all encumbrances. So we have encumbered 150,000 ready to pay. And you'll see a lot of those hit in the month of October in the next time you review. And the E5 is still available to be encumbered. I had to correct that budget for actuals this year, but billing did not come in that way over the summertime. There were September bills that just hadn't hit by the September 15th.
My last question, on page 3, number 28. This is the technical supplies, like down 33 thousand. Full explanation of that, please.
Sure, that line is all the costs that is of doing all the database management for everything student-wide. So most of those costs have been encumbered for, and then she has some space to experiment with any new programs that she would like to use, but that's what that account number is for.
When you talk about it quickly about the transportation, obviously we have big negative balances, and I know you're gonna transfer $1 million in there. Will $1 million cover everything, or are we still, you think, gonna have a problem sort of projecting?
We did a lot of analytics work over the summer on this, and we think that when we clear that money from the grant for this year, we will be fine with the transportation costs. The key conversation with the city is that's a one-time solution of outside grant funding for those costs. So how are we funding for the program going forward? So our bigger concern while we're tracking the actuals is as we get into budgeting for next season, how are we dealing with the maintenance of these costs?
All right, thank you.
Anyone else have questions in regards to the financials? Seeing none, I want to say thank you, Mr. Cruz, for your time, and unfortunately, technical difficulties, but we appreciate your help.
We'll figure out ways and means meeting upcoming to do some work on appropriating the carry forward, but Diane can lead through that part of the conversation.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Next item is food service, and we have nothing on that. We did that last month. Nothing under communications. Nothing under enrollment update. Anyone have any questions on personnel items? Moving on, we have no donations and we have no school field. So under the consent calendar, does anyone have the last minute questions or concerns? Ms. Ty?
It's not a question or a concern. It's just an expression of joy. I'm so happy when I see one of our own kids come back, and Brandon Brittle is coming, and those little boys were wonderful, and I so glad around. And I was just so happy to see that he's going back to the school where he went. And the guy, it'll be wonderful.
And his brother is with us at the high school.
And we have a few that came, Eduardo Berry, got back, and she's over at Wayland, and so it is nice when you see those faces. Okay, next item is, I don't have the word, I believe it said school gifts. Apparel. Yeah. Anyone have any, questions or a need to speak on it? Okay, I will. Mr. Frangie, I'm sorry.
I know it's something that we talk about it, but I think we have to include that in our weight needs subcommittee meeting, because obviously to monitor everything involved. I think we could have a discussion about that. If that's okay.
And I just want to add, you know, we've gotten a site that perhaps the staff could look at and maybe choose something that they might like. And it went up to $125 in a coat, in a jacket. But we also have to be careful, because we're talking conflict of interest, and anything over $50 and above is issue with Mass Law 268A. So we need to be careful there. And then, you know, when I'm thinking of money, and please don't look at me as the Christmas Grinch, but I'm thinking of all these things in my head. And last month, the state mandated literacy screening, including dyslexia. And that's a matter of 2 times a year. And we're going to need extra for that.
We do that 3 times a year already.
But
We were not impacted by
awesome.
the state's change.
Uh,
They're catching up with us.
Also, we talk about. Pardon?
No, I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead. I'm really interested.
I also, you know, we talk about the apparel as a morale issue. And I just don't see how a shirt or a jacket or whatever people want to call swag is not going to change the climate of our schools. I don't believe these are my opinions. So our staff as a whole do not feel valued for their work. Teaching amid the pandemic has led to burnout. They want a voice, and they want the administration willing to hear their concerns. And many times we heard of the need for extra assistant principals because of the increased workload. But what about our other staff members? Theirs has increased also. When do we check in on our staff and ask, how are you doing? Or if you're going around the rooms, do you need a 5-minute health break, mental health break? Do you want to go take a walk or use the bathroom? Just to know that they're cared about. And I'm not saying no one does care, because everyone, we're all in this together. It's just that those to me are the things that are going to build morale, is just human kindness.
Oh, yeah. This is unreal.
I'm sorry, but I look at how many of our educators are requesting items for their classroom through Amazon and Donors Choose. And these are items that may not be necessary, but they do enhance the curriculum and classroom culture. I believe that there needs to be more resources and recognition for our school community, and not just through a gift. And it's not just in Revere. I think it's just everywhere right now. It doesn't matter if it's a business or a school. I think people just want to feel valued more. And I think talking to them and showing human kindness means a lot more than a shirt. And I'm sure many of them will be grateful for it. But in the long run, the morale, I think, the whole picture. So, anyone else have any comments?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm really stunned right now by the commentary there, because the implication that our principals and administrators and assistant superintendents and I don't show care for our staff is incredibly upsetting. I happened to have a meeting with Mr. Ferranti earlier this week. And we talked about exactly what you were just saying. In fact, it's one of the proposals that that I made, that I sent to all of you this afternoon, about giving teachers a little bit of flex money that they'd be able to determine what they need for their classroom and get that. I don't know what else to say right now.
First of all, I want to say my comment was not made as any type of dig towards this administration. I'm talking about everyone as a whole. I'm just saying that we need a little bit more human kindness, and it goes back and forth. It's not just you as the administrator. It's not our individual school administration. It's just everyone as a whole. So it was not meant to hurt anyone personally. And I am sorry if you're going to take it that way, but that is not what I was talking about.
Madam Chair, we have our final results.
Do you have a motion? Second? Okay, 5-minute recess. But why is it whatever I say, you're going to, what?
We've had multiple conversations about just buying a little gift, and that's never come out.
But
All of a
I'm
sudden, in a
just
public
saying,
meeting,
I
you're
don't
like,
see
you're making
it.
it sound like no one's passionate, and all, like.
I'm the one that's gonna be the Christmas Grinch. What are you talking about?
Stacey, you just sit there and imply that nobody in this district cares for the teachers and everything they've been through.
That was not my intent.
Well, that's the way it came out.
And I think I already had a conversation with you about it.
And Michael, we've all had conversations with everyone in the world, but it's something we've discussed multiple times, we're gonna get the flag tonight. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about.
Well, we didn't, first of all, we don't all discuss that, and no one said we can't get them that.
And
I'm just saying, I'm
that's
looking
why I
at
thought
it.
it was on the agenda, we're getting staff a little, Yeah, that's what I'm
Me too.
concerned, you know.
All I did was
Make
just put that in
speeches.
ways and means
What?
so we can talk.
Just make speeches.
I asked if anyone had any comments, so I shouldn't be able to make a comment?
I don't think it had anything to do with apparel.
It had nothing to do with.
Nothing to do with
It had
I'm
nothing to do
saying,
with
if you
apparel.
were talking about getting them apparel as far as morale, I
That's it,
did,
here,
I
end
don't
of sentence. It's not about, do you need a bathroom break, you want me to hold your hand? Do you wanna go get some coffee?
Well, in fairness to Stacy, I think she's talking about boosting momentum. I mean, I get what you guys are saying, but she was,
The agenda.
but the point of the apparel was to boost morale. And she's saying,
Carol and said,
And trash the people in the
Yeah.
district.
well, I did not.
and a lot of people love that apparel, that's what I voted for.
I didn't know we voted for it.
No, we didn't.
no, we didn't.
No, it's not gonna be voted until those 2 weeks we need, the next meeting we have.